Hope everyone who has joined so far is charged up for the session.
Yes.
While आपके voice echo हो रही है, you must be connected to this thing.
Hello. I'm connected with one device so far.
You'll have to exit from one device.
Welcome, Jitesh bhai. आप एक बार जितेश भाई you just check your PPT once कि वो share हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है ना, so that we don't see any technical glitches during the
I'll
session.
stop.
You are on mute, जितेश भाई.
होस्ट ने डिसेबल किया हुआ है, मैं शेयर नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ.
नहीं, आपको बना दिया, co-host बना दिया.
Okay, we'll start with the session. We'll start with our Naukar mantra and then start with us. So I just start chanting the Naukar mantra. Hope everyone to join in for that. Namo Hantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Namo Jayanam, Namo Luve Savasam, Namo Sri Rishabdevaya Namah, Sri Choice Tirthankaraya Namah. With 24 Tirthankaras blessing, we now start with our today's session. So, before starting with the session, I would like to quote something, a stanza from my favorite quote. So, that is with respect to कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती, लहरों से डरकर नौका पार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों से कभी हार नहीं होती। नन्ही चींटी जब दाना लेकर चलती है, चढ़ती दीवारों पर 100 बार फिसलती है। मन का विश्वास रगों में साहस बढ़ता है, चढ़कर गिरना गिरकर चढ़ना ना अकड़ता है। आखिर उसकी मेहनत बेकार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती। As we all are chartered accountants today here joining for this session, and I'm sure in our professional lives, we have strived a lot. And today we all are marching towards the path of success and wish everyone to strive in future too. Today in the world where it is tech enabled and changing just important for all of us to be future fit. And that's the need of an hour. And today, this session, I expect everyone to maintain peace and join this session with full rigor so that you get a good takeaway from this session, which will enable you to be future fit. So day in, day out, we face many challenges, and one key challenge is something which this session will enable you to be future fit. Before that, I would request Abhay Sakaria to just take the podium for a minute and highlight on the theme for JSF Midtown. Over to you, Abhay.
Thank you, Payal. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to this knowledge session organized by JCF Midtown chapter. I recognize the presence of CA Punit Bhai, General Secretary of JCF Mumbai. I recognize the presence of Jitesh Bhai, JCF Midtown chapter treasurer. And I also welcome our today's faculty, CA Sankit Porwal, and all the participants here. As many of you know that JCF is a voluntary network of Jain Chartered Accountant across India and abroad, fostering professional learnings and community service. JCF continue to be a platform where a professional comes together to share insights, enhance skill, and support one another's growth. So, friends and participants, those who are not a member of a JCF can now become a life member by just paying 1100 plus GST. If I'm not wrong, Punit bhai, if I'm correct. Yeah. So, and if I brief you about JCF chapter activities, particularly in its second terms, JCF Midtown chapter is committed to do best of the event possible and divided. And so this year we have divided our events into three areas. One is a mind, body, and soul. So mind, particularly knowledge sharing session, which you will see today, and it will be physical as well as webinars. Body is like, physical activities, sports events, outdoor events, trips, picnics, etc. And the soul is a dharm charcha, sadhu sadhu vyavach, bhakti. And we have two highly relevant and practical topic lined up today. One is certification drafting, ICI guidance plus AI tool, and another is Excel productivity hacks. So we hope you all will enjoy today's session, and a big thanks to both the speakers. Over to you, Payal.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we now request CA Sankit Porwal to take our first session. Before that, I would like to highlight on Sankit's journey so far. Sankit is a partner at CGCA and Associates, which is based out of Mumbai in Kohinoor Square, Shivaji Park. He specializes in financial reporting and accounting standards with deep expertise in Ind-AS implementation and accounting standards for non-corporate entities. Sankit has been an active member of the WIRC Ind-AS Committee and Audit and Assurance Committee for the past 2 years. He has also served as a technical review on FRRB board for 2020 and 2021. He has contributed to several key ICAI publications, including Anthology on Ind-AS Disclosures, KAM Reporting, Model Financial Statements for Non-Corporate Entities, Accounting Standards for Non-Company Entities. He is a regular speaker at ICAI Study Circle, Jain CA Federation, and other professional forums, where he addresses topics on Ind-AS, audit documentation, and financial reporting for non-corporate entities. With a practical understanding of both technical requirements and ground-level implementation, and also publication committee of non-corporate financial statement, Sankit brings clarity and relevance to the evolving reporting requirement of financial statement under AS of accounting standards for non-corporate entities. So I now request Sankit to start with the session 1 for certification mastery. What are the non-compliance in these ICI certificates which is faced in today's time? What are the ICI guidance note on that? And also how we can leverage AI for this. Over to you, Sankit Porwal, and welcome on board.
Thank you, Payal, for that kind introduction. Can someone just confirm I'm audible enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, Sankit, you are.
Yes. So because I practice a lot on the assurance side, and one of the agenda of assurance being risk management for the practitioners itself, and coming from the Jain theory that we have to give it back. So we are trying to conduct this seminar from the two perspective. One is the non-compliance perspective, and the other is the compliance perspective, and how to be compliant, uh, being profitable, being risk averse, and also to use AI to achieve our goals. So that's what the agenda today is. The major portion of the discussion is going to be on the certification. Now, when I say certification, there are basically two types of certification. One is the certification which you do day in day out basis your requirement from the clients. Another is a certification which is the IPO related certification like DRHP and all. Coming to the fact that once the audit season is over, or even day in day out, for banking purposes or from tender filing purposes, client keep calling the uh, maybe Abhay bhai, give me a turnover certificate. Ritesh bhai, give me a turnover certificate, and that's something which is like very they are on their horses. So like I want it like in 2 hours. I have to submit this, otherwise I will not get the order. I will not get a tender. My bank funding is stuck, so and so forth. Now, when someone is coming so fast at us, right? We either tend to take the hit or we either tend to leave it. That's the thought process. But what we need to do is we just need to take a step back and do the compliances which needs to be done. And it should be a win-win situation for us, for the client's finances, and for our P&L both. With this thought process, I'm just going to take you through for the few minutes that what is the requirement of the law. And the second section, we would discuss the practical side of enabling empowering ourselves with the AI tools to achieve our empower goals. So, if you see this slide, whenever we are, we or any of your staff is generating this certificate UDIN, which is compulsory. If you read the highlighted portion at the UDIN screen itself, they are telling us that it should be noted that for certificates, detailed guidance note have been issued by
वो लॉ
AASB
प्रोटेक्टर वालों ने दे दिया है अभिनव।
of
अभिनव
ICI.
लॉ प्रोटेक्टर वालों ने वापस से दे दिया है, सुधार के दे दिया।
Sorry for the disturbance. So yeah, the UDIN screen itself says that it is should be noted that for certificate, detailed guidance note have been provided by ASB of ICI as guidance note on reports and certificate for special purpose. So our base is going to be this guidance note, which is guidance note on reports or certificate for special purpose. And in that guidance note, they have given 3-4 formats also to be followed by the practicing chartered accountant. So if you are holding a COP and you are giving some certificates to your client, confirming something, whether it is true and fair, true and correct, or just verifying a fact. So I think what they are looking at is that you need to give it in the specified format. Now, taking you back to standards on auditing, like in audit report, we are saying that everything is okay, it's true and fair. But in audit, we are still supposed to give it in the prescribed format. Now for certificate also similar format is there which needs to be followed, and certain key points are there which we need to follow. So I wanted to bring to the attention of the audience that if ICI has taken so much of effort to bring this prompt or pop-up at the during generation level, that means this is something which need not be taken lightly, right? So this was the first thing that we need to see, that at every UDIN generation, ICI is expecting you, giving you a hint again and again that you are, whenever issuing a certificate, follow this guidance note. Now, some might say ki it's okay, we don't follow what has happened. So I would just like to highlight two cases. In one of the ICI disciplinary committee, auditor or the person who was certifying, CA Vijay Kumar Bansal, has been found guilty and penalized for a penalty of 1 lakh rupees for the only reason that in the certificate that it was issued by him, they had mentioned to whomsoever it may concern. Now, if you read the guidance note, it says that when you are entering into an engagement with your client, you know that for what purpose and for whom the client is going to forward your certificate. At times you might address to the board, and at times you might address to a specific bank also. Like bank say कि मुझे आपके ऑर्डर से सर्टिफिकेट ला के दो. So to leave it something like to whomsoever it may concern is something that you are taking things very casually, and that is why in such a case bank relied on the purpose and the client had used this for some other purpose. See, if the order specifically said negligence provided the company an opportunity to misuse the same for other purpose. It is like sometimes if we are talking something and we take that meaning into another context, the things can go very wrong. So similarly, if you are giving your certificate, it has to be clearly specified that for what purpose it is and to whom it is addressed, who is going to be the user of the certificate. So that was in this case. Again, the very recent case in 2023, when our ex-president Ankit Aditi was there, they have also identified that you have to identify the parties or the parties to whom the assurance certificate is being given. So the assurance report is ordinarily addressed to the engaging party, but in some cases they may be, given to the intended users also. So that is another thing. Now, what are the common errors that, which we have seen? Nowadays, people are still giving something like true copy. If you have a stamp in your office which says true copy, you just put it in a dustbin, because as per ICI UDIN FAQ, you are not supposed to give true copy anymore. If somebody says ki, can you true copy my ITR? Can you true copy my balance sheet? You have to say a clear no, because now ICI says that as a chartered accountant, you are not there to notarize something or give a true copy certificate. What you need to do is give a proper certificate. Let's take an example. Your client wants my income is, let's say, 15 lakh rupees taxable income, and I want a certificate from you. In that, what we need to do is we need to follow the format which we will be discussing later. And in that format, we need to say that ITR acknowledgement, which has been attached as annexure, has been properly extracted from the income tax e-filing portal specific to the client. That is what we are looking at. So, uh, then another certificate that we are using is second.
Akhil will request you to please mute.
Can everyone other else keep on mute?
Yeah, thank you. Another error that we have identified is that people are still giving CSR utilization certificate. If you see nowadays the CSR utilization certificate, it's a single certificate which is trying to say that one paragraph certificate. We have reviewed the books and the donation of so and so given by so and so party has been properly utilized. Now again, these all certificates are not in the right format. So we again need to give it in the prescribed format by ICI guidance board. Another error that we see is clients generally ask for turnover certificate, net worth certificate, borrowing certificate. What you need to give is that all these numbers of turnover, borrowing, net worth has been properly extracted from the financial statement rather than trying to say that turnover, borrowings, or net worth are true and correct. See, true and correct and true and fair has already been certified by the auditor in the audited financial statement. You may or may not be the auditor, but when you are giving the certificate, what steps do you follow? Client says my turnover is 1,000 crore. You say, give me audited financials. You go and check 1,000 crore. You might even go and check GST R1, GST R3B, and you're just confirming that yes, the details of the turnover as provided is 1,000 crore. Now, somebody say that if the audited accounts are there, then why a certificate is required? Sometimes the level of detailing of the turnover is not there in the financial statement. So your total might tally with the financial statement, but the breakup is something which you need to verify. In such a scenario, we are only trying to say that it is true and correct. We are trying to say that it has been accurately extracted from the audited books of accounts rather than it is true and correct. Similarly, uh, many a times client asks for no due certificate when they're taking new funding or otherwise. So in those certificates, we are saying that it is true and fair. Either the client has delayed some payments or not. It can be true and correct and not true and fair. Another error that we commonly see is that people are just taking last year's certificate and copy pasting it. But you have to be very careful that whether the numbers on which you are confirming are audited or unaudited. There can be a possibility that the audited numbers UDIN has been generated later, though you have finalized your balance sheet, and the auditor and the client says, just give me a certificate, I want to submit for a tender application. But you need to be aware whether the UDIN has been generated or not of the auditor financials. Basis that you have to finalize. Then another error is to whomsoever you are not restricting the purpose of the certificate. You have to put a specific restriction on the certificate user that other than this particular use you cannot use. And last is, yeah. Last is the annexures are not used properly. So many a times what happens that client says that आपका ये format नहीं चलेगा, मेरे banker को वही format में चाहिए, or the government department asks for a specified format, my clearing and agent asks in a specified format. So what we are doing, the client gives us the format and we are just signing it on. In fact, many a times we have seen that people are signing on the letterhead of the client. So client has printed the format, it's a letterhead on which client is also signing in, we are also signing, which is obviously wrong, right? We cannot sign on the client's letterhead. How do you get around all this is what we'll take it up in the coming period. So what are the components of this certificate? The components of the certificates are very clear. First is addressee, that you have to address to some particular person. Second is engagement terms and certificate identification. So you have to identify that as on which date you have entered into an engagement with the client for this particular certificate. Many a times we cannot keep writing the date, so you can always mention as per the specified engagement terms. So you need not mention the engagement date later. Second portion is that which certificate you are referring to. So you are saying, as per our engagement term, we have been approached for the purpose of specifying the turnover, net worth, borrowing, anything that. Now, what then management's responsibility? You have to clarify that the management's responsible for the preparation of the data. It is not you who have prepared. So if you don't mention it very categorically that the preparation of the data of all the financial numbers included in the certificate is the management's responsibility, then it is not, then it is presumed that it is the auditor who has prepared because it is going on our letterhead. Correct. So that is something that we need to measure. Next is the practitioner's responsibility. And the one which I've highlighted in the red is what we will be discussing at the use of AI. Practitioner's responsibility is what you are going to confirm. You have to tell whether you're going to confirm true and fair, or you're going to confirm true and correct, or you're only going to confirm a specific fact, yes or no. That is practitioner's responsibility. And how did you arrive at that opinion? So this is your responsibility, this is your opinion, and there's a gap between there, which is are your audit procedures. So you need to mention that very categorically. Last is restriction on use, and always use annexure A. So unless it's a one figure opinion, that's a different thing. But we always refer annexure A. What we do annexure A is basically we put the annexure A whatever the format client wants. Okay, you want it in their format, good. We will put it as annexure A. But all this addressee, engagement, and management response practitioners, you put it in your main letterhead. And in the opinion paragraph, you have to just mention that whatever details have been mentioned in annexure A are true and correct, true and fair, or has been accurately extracted. That will just go through. So these are the components of the ICI guidance note. Now, in spite of this guidance note being available out there, we know what we need to do. What are the common noise that we hear that why we are not following this? First is very obvious unawareness. Oh, I had no clue that there was such a guidance note for a certificate. I was just signing and stamping and giving it away. Second, I was aware, but I have never prioritized it. It's okay, it's not a big deal. But then if you see the case laws that we saw about the order by the disciplinary committee that you need to follow the UDIN screen, which is saying that you need to follow, then there is a requirement to follow them. Third, which is the most common thing, is time pressure. Yes, Ankit, by the requirement comes at such a short notice that I have no time to follow all this. It comes within an hour. My client peon would come to my office, or maybe a day span I need to give that certificate. Because this is such a small thing for client, they believe that it's not an audit stuff, so I can just send it across requirement and I would get it in a day's time. And they are even pre-committing to somebody. But they are not realizing that when we are signing, we are again supposed to maybe not audit, but at least check few things and sign it off. Next we see is mechanical process that client would say, I have sent you, you just print and sign it to me. One of the problem is which we will solve today is that it is not cost effective. Like if we go through an entire drafting process, we keep all checks and balances, and then it is then I who have to do the signing person who have to draft for this. So rather than how do I get it done from the below the chain, that is from my juniors or articles or interns. So that's another problem. uh, there are firms which are using the template, but then they say when something new comes, then we don't have a pre template of that. We don't have a draft of some new requirement of the client. In such scenario, we go by the client's format only. So the one which we decided key client driven formats are there. सो क्लाइंट बोलते हैं आईसीआई का फॉर्मेट नहीं चलेगा, बैंक का ही चलता है, गवर्नमेंट का ही चलता है. तो देन व्हाट डू? You put the bank government formats in annexure A and you follow your format. In opinion you cross reference to annexure A, तो दोनों का काम हो गया. Now if he can take the physical set, he can ignore the earlier two pages of ICA format. He can only give directly that last page to the bank government wherever he wants to give it. But as far as I am concerned, as an auditor or assurance practitioner, certificate signing person, I have given it in ICS format. So that is something which you can. And last is lack of drafting skills. So not everybody is very well versed with the drafting. Myself, I struggle with the drafting, not from income tax point of view. So what we can do to attend all of this? So obviously the answer is today's the most used word, that is AI, ChatGPT, or maybe GPTs and LLMs. So we are going to go through that. Now, before we get on to the practical side of it, last slide I want to discuss is how do you go about it. So if any client says that I want this so and so certificate, give me. So first I would suggest everybody can go on Perplexity and just search if this is a certificate. Are there any recent news or challenges about this kind of certificate? So Perplexity is basically your Google and a better version of Google. So if you search anything in Google, you have to read through 100 pages. Perplexity is going to read through those 100 pages and summarize it for you. So first, कोई recent risk तो नहीं है ना, बस news. I just want to know news. So it's more like asking your some CA friend, boss, this is what my client is asking. Is there any risk? Have you ever given something like this? So you can ask this to Perplexity. If you don't find any negative news around anything like that, what you can do, then you can shift to ChatGPT and we'll go through. Based on my experience of last 1.5, 2 years of using this for certification, including normal certification, and we have done it for IPO and DRHP, and which has been approved by merchant bankers ultimately. So we are confident that this works and this is the right way to go ahead. We have now reverse engineered and created a master prompt which is going to be a takeaway for the audience which is here today. And you have to keep reworking. We'll see two models. One is the fresh model, one is the experience model. And how do you use yourself? So once you keep using, and then over a period of time, you need not give any detailed instruction. It's like having a first year article and having your last year article, or having a first new fresh employee versus a 10-year experienced employee. So for the experienced ones, you need not give very detailed instruction. अरे वो भी कर लेना, वो भी कर लेना, वो भी कर लेना, ये भी कर लेना. All you need to do is just ये करके लेके आ. The entire reverse 10 steps, the experienced guy would know, but the fresher wouldn't know, right? So you are always worried he might miss that step, this step. So you have to keep telling, keep telling. But all experienced people start out as a fresher, right? So even your own GPT will start out as a fresh GPT, and you have to keep training it, keep instructing it. No, I want this. No, I want this. And then it will come to a level where GPT will tell you, sir, you want this. This is the MRL that you need. This is what you are requiring right now. And last is the notebook LLM, which I need to just show people for finalization of their books from Schedule 3 perspective. And see, what we're trying to achieve today is a very small set of real application, but I want people to take away the analogy of how it can be used at a very bigger level and other areas of operations as well. So with this, I will now just shift to the practical side of discussion. Uh, so I have this 3 level of certificates which I need to discuss. First is the turnover certificate. Basically, in the turnover certificate, let's try and put it across. So this is if you see on the left hand side, this is ChatGPT. I'm pretty sure everybody is well versed with the screen and user interface. But this is I created a new ID, and with this, I
पे 50 देता है यार किसी
can
नहीं
I
दिया
request the audience to be on mute? Thank you. So this is a new email based chat GPT which has no priority. So considering this to be your first year article or your new employee, we need a return our certificate. So what and now with the presentation, there is some guidance for the ICI which needs to be complied. So let's put it across.
Sanket, I think
Yes, Purin.
there's some voice which is cracking. If you could just check आपका ऑडियो थोड़ा सा और बेटर कर सकते हो कुछ या इंक्रीज कर सकते हो तो बेटर रहेगा. हाँ ये इंक्रीज कर दीजिए ना ऑडियो को.
Is it better
ये
now?
आपका ये आपका ईयरफोन हो गया. जस्ट ट्राई एंड वर्क विद द जूम का जो है ना
Okay.
जूम में जो आपका ऑडियो है ना उसको भी एक बार माइक को फुल ऑन कर दो ना. माइक ऑडियो सेटिंग्स में जूम में इन द माइक्रोफोन इनपुट वॉल्यूम में.
हाँ ये फुली किया हुआ है.
ओके फुल है ना बस ठीक है. थोड़ा सा क्रैक हो रहा था. नेटवर्क चैलेंज नहीं है ना
मेरे को
आपके?
आपका भी अभी थोड़ा ये आ रहा है.
अच्छा
हाँ. Is it better now? Purin bhai, any luck on that?
नहीं अभी वैसे ही लग रहा है मेरे को भी. व्हाट अदर पार्टिसिपेंट्स आर सेइंग?
मुझे आपका भी एको ही आ रहा है अभी.
अच्छा नहीं मेरा एक को मेरे को प्रॉब्लम नहीं है बिकॉज आई एम नॉट द स्पीकर टुडे. सो
हाँ.
वो ठीक है बट
पुनीत भाई,
हाँ
संकेत जी का जो प्रॉब्लम है जो क्रैकिंग का, इट्स बिकॉज ऑफ नेटवर्क इज व्हाट आई सपोज, इट्स नॉट बिकॉज ऑफ द माइक.
ठीक है. तो थोड़ी देर के लिए एक बार संकेत कैमरा ऑफ करके बात कर लो.
वीडियो
अगर बेटर होएगा तो वो देख लो.
Sorry.
कैमरा ऑफ कर लो आपका.
Okay.
एंड नाउ जस्ट ट्राई फॉर 5 minutes 2 minutes at least.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So let's deep dive into the first practical example. That now we know that there's a requirement of ICF to follow guidance note. What you need to do is you need to speak it out or type it out the way you would instruct to your junior or the article. So first obviously I need to introduce I'm a CA and I need to issue a turnover certificate for the client. It needs to be in the ICI guidance note or compliance. So let's see what it gives us back. So now if you see, so this is what the certificate it has been given here, sample turnover to whomsoever it may concern and what. So this is obviously not in compliance with your ICI guidance, and that's how any new intern would work, right? So now let's use a prompt. So let's say we have reverse engineered this, and now we want to use turnover certificate based on audited accounts to be issued for the clients. And then you just paste the prompt which is there. And even go back to the presentation where we say what are the contents of the So now if you see what it has tried to do is that to whomsoever it may concern, because this is on confidentiality, we have not mentioned the details. Certificate of turnover for so and so for the financial period. Now if you see the earlier, it has not mentioned anything. Subject line nahi hai, kuch bhi nahi hai, right? It has just given one paragraph that the way client wants it. Now the one which it has now there's a preamble, basically the one addressee engagement terms and certificate identification. We so and so having our office at so and so have certify the turnover of the entity for the financial year ended. This certificate is issued in accordance with the terms of our engagement with the management, the one which I was speaking, engagement terms. and is based solely on the audited financial statements of the entity for the relevant period. Second, management response. The preparation, maintenance, and underlying records reflecting so and so recognition of turnover is the responsibility of the management. The management is also responsible for making completeness information which they are providing to us. They have also provided written representation confirming the correctness and completeness. What is your responsibility? Our responsibility is to certify the turnover. We have performed our procedures according with the guidance note issued by ICI. We have conducted so and so. What procedures have you obtained? Now, this is the beauty that if you do it in the right way with this master prop, what steps your junior has to do or your staff has to do, this will they will learn on it their own. In connection with the certificate, we have carried the following procedures: obtained and reviewed the audited financial statement, verified the turnover disclosed in the profit and loss account, ensured the consistency with the accounting policies, verified that the turnover reported is net of taxes. Generally, GST non-GST there's an error because many times find staff go to sales register with again data, that is invoice value, which is not right, and obtain necessary clarification and representation from the manager wherever required. Now, what we are saying, basis on our examination as per audited financial statement, we hereby certify so and so. And then there's other matters that this does not mean that we have audited, this is not a review, this is just a confirmation. Restriction. This certificate issued at the request of management solely for the purpose of whatever purpose they must have told you on the call, and should not be used, reproduced, we do not accept any liability or responsibility. So and so. And then it also gives you a checklist that documents required. See, this is a 5 minutes before created login ID for ChatGPT. I'm not even using my ChatGPT. So this is a fresh one. This is the first chat that I'm using, and this is the level of understanding it has. Documents that you require from the client, audited financial statement, trial balance, MRN, and clarification on inclusion and exclusion taxes. Verification step, ensure turnover, recalculate XYZ thing, and then it's giving you an MRL also. Now, if you see this entire process would otherwise would have taken us maybe an hour for your junior or maybe 1.5 hour. कि MRL बनाएगा उसको requirement list भेजेगा क्या भेजने का उसके लिए वो 10-15 minutes it will apply its mind, but it's all done. Now we wanted two things out of this. The client requires the turnover in a specified format. Hence, we are giving that format-based turnover details, basically HSN-wise in Annexure A. In the opinion, refer to Annexure A. Also, I am not confirming true and fair or true and correct, but only accurately extracted from the audited financial statement. Redraft the final. So now it will keep everything else so and so certify management's responsibility. Now, if we see the practitioner's responsibility, it has changed, right? Pursuant to the request received from the management, are limited to verifying the turnover details as expected from the audited financial statement. Earlier, it was trying to say true and correct. Now it is saying as extracted from the audited financial statement, and in the guidance note also it is saying that if something is already audited, you have to only give an extraction confirmation. Similar language you can use for confirming someone's ITR acknowledgement that so and so pursuant to the requirement taxable income we have been properly extracted from the ITR uploaded on the income tax portal by the so and so assessee having PAN so and so. Then in the procedures, it is keeping more or less the same. Now, because you mentioned that HSM wise, so verified the extraction and compilation turnover in specified format, including HSM wise as per the data provided. Now, in the opinion paragraph, it says that based on the procedures performed, we hereby certify turnover details for the financial year as compiled and presented in annexure to this certificate have been accurately extracted. We have not carried out any audit or review. So then this is your annexure, or it can be another format. What helps over here is that maybe sometime client only needs this annexure A in the prescribed format. Good, you take it. But we have a precedent, we have a thought process before that, and we are compliant. And what many time banks and all also I've seen that they are not reviewing all these procedures. But it is really a safeguard ki how did you arrive at your conclusion? I did this, I did this, I did this, and basis on that, this is my confirmation. And if someone wants that, no, I want you to confirm that also. I never mentioned, matlab, even if I'm saying that XYZ is the turnover, it is basis of this and this. If tomorrow the turnover, if the client has reported some other turnover somewhere else, then you can always say that I had arrived basis on this decision or on this roadmap. You are coming from another roadmap. So it can be totally different, but it safeguards you. If you don't mention it categorically, it leaves you wide open from, other risks and which is there, the client may misuse it or sometimes. So the two things that we learned from it. First, without prom, how does it look? Second, with prom, how does it look? Third, to auto correct it, it is now. Now, just let me show you another certificate that I want to. I I need to issue network certificate in the ICI prescribed format. Network calculated the annexure A separately draft accordingly. See, you have the preamble, your management responsibility, practitioner responsibility, procedures perform, everything is there, correct? Now there was no requirement to put this master prompt, correct? Because now your junior, now your staff knows कि नहीं sir को यही format में चाहिए, madam को यही format में चाहिए. So now it is taking, now it has auto learned it. So this is there, which you can use it. Now see, now again we don't have to tell him that you don't give true and correct. It has learned, okay, it has been accurately extracted from the audited financial statement. So these 2 points which I wanted to, showcase and highlight the use of all this. Now let's shift to a bit complicated one. Now let's say I had a client who said that I wanted to confirm a certificate to so they were working with some broker, and basis that a broker had a client and that they wanted to give a performance certificate, mutual fund and equity shares. So as a auditor, I'm not the auditor of that PMS fund or that broker fund. How do I go about it? All I can do is that mathematically the performance is right. So when I say mathematically, in the sense that I got the investment details, I checked the bank statements, I got the holding statement, current asset statement, and based on that, I calculated the IRR. The IRR has been properly mathematically, which is the returns confirmed in the annexure A or maybe details of. So what there are three types of certificates. One which is very routine, like turnover, net worth, borrowings, no dues, which comes regularly annually, which your particular GPT, maybe at the firm level, maybe at the individual level, I would suggest at a firm level, is already learned, is already there. It's something like save as. Last year tha humne dekha. But what happens if something new comes? You don't have a save as option. Okay. So then you are supposed to sit and draft. So rather than trying to do that, you can just give an instruction. Okay. And there are some certificates which are very tricky. So you yourself can, fastly draft key. No, I don't want to confirm this. I want to confirm this. I can only give this. This is the data that client has given me. This is our decision. You just, discuss it out and remodify this entire thing. And you would get those kind of certificates. Uh, Another example would be one of our clients told us that cost records are not applicable to us, you give us a certificate on that. Now, I am not able to confirm cost records are applicable or not. It is the applicability of cost records based on product level HSN code. So client said, I am giving you my GSTR9, which has HSN code wise data. I am giving you a financial statement, which has my turnover, which is audited by you only. But those two things had a different number. So maybe my audited numbers is 1,000 crore and GSTR9, which has a HSM wise breakup is 980 crores. So now how do you give that such kind of certificates? So let's do one more example. Let's go by a new chat. I need to issue a, let's see if I have it. Do a certificate on cost audit applicability. The basis is being HSN wise. The turnover is, so I need to tell what I need, right? Next step is I need to tell client has given me turnover reconciliation of HSN wise with GST, let's say 980 crore, and with the financials 1,000 crore. This is that I am confirming the HSN wise turnover is accurately extracted from the audited books of accounts, not financial statement. But financials have 1,000 crore. I have say audited books of account, and accordingly, I need to issue a certificate in the prescribed ICAI format. So what all procedures we must have done is, so as a senior, as a reviewer, you only need to see the majorly the opinion paragraph. Now, if you see, because we have changed the chat window, this is how it has given. Now, if we can copy this and put it here in the same window. So this was another thing which I wanted to bring up, that you continue the same chat window so that its learning ability remains there. When you shift to a new chat window, it's like going to another junior. So जिसको पहले सिखाया वो वापस दूसरे को नहीं पता चलेगा. So if you have the preamble, so and so management responsibility. There, here you have also the management also provided HSN wise reconciliation statement, practitioner story. Now I am more interested in this. Obtained the audited financial statement for so and so, obtained HSM wise turnover reconciliation provided, verified the reconciliation statement and ensured that the total turnover figure is in agreement with the audited books of account, and verified this with the annexure have been extracted from audited record without modification. Basis this, you are saying that whatever is there, it is okay, and then obviously you have to remodify that cost audit is not applicable and all. So again, this is how you would go about. Now, last I would like to show over here is, so I'm checking the same requirement and now shifting to the window which has been used for multiple times. So how does it look like after that? So if you see, it is not given in the, again, the prescribed format. Now, just a single prompt. So once you start training your own, GPT or a chat window, it is going to also suggest audit procedures on its own. Because as and when you keep mentioning what kind of audit procedures you adopt, it learns on its own. And basis that is always going to suggest the audit procedures on its own. So maybe another what we can pause audit applicability certificate as per NCI. Note on. So what we will do is we will share this master prompt with the attendees over here, and basis that people can utilize this to whenever they. So if you see now, I've only given a single prompt that cross-site applicability or not. So now it says what all we have written, because in the absence of information, I only have open a written confirmation, a written note confirm the management regarding the nature, reviewed the audited accounts, examined the product service list, verified the company is engaged in manufacturing production, verified turnover. Now I did not give all the such detail कि HSN code था नहीं था. Now it knows कि what kind of audit procedures are required. So as and when you keep doing, you will have to skip the input side. Like I need not told it. HSN code details have been given by client to me. It has now presumed that that is the minimum requirement for me to verify. So basis that the company is engaged in. Now, if you see the earlier results, yeah, I had mentioned that I wanted to give this for certificate of cost audit applicability, but it restricted to itself the GST term HSM wise reconciliation audited books of account. The reason because it has not been trade enough like this window on the Microsoft Edge, which is a very fairly new, has not been trained enough to know that what finally we achieve with our certification. But the current window which I am using in the Google Chrome knows it. So it has gone to an extent of, this certificate is issued solely for the use of company and for submission to ROC. क्योंकि ROC से query आया था कि आपको cost and applicable है कि नहीं उसका certificate दो. So, this is what is there as and when you keep using. What So I think I've given quite a practical examples, and what I need to just tell how do you take it forward on a larger scale. So what you can start is you can create your own email ID based chat GPT like for the firm level, and ask your staff to keep using that only. And as and when any certificate which is being finalized based on your review, upload the final word file also in that window. Okay, so if you see you have this plus window which you would be getting in the chat GPT. So keep uploading it so that the chat GPT or the window knows it that finally what was finalized and how does the final product look like. So once you keep doing this for 10, 15 certificate, it will have a sense of you, and this will become another intern for you. And uh, even when the client calls you, ki, I want this certificate, that certificate, you can say, okay, what you can do is immediately just type it on your mobile, ask for a requirement list. You can WhatsApp that requirement list to the client, keep send this detail to my staff. And another output you can create is instruction to the staff कि ये check कर लेना, ये data आएगा and accordingly ये certificate finalize कर लेना. That instruction can go away in 2 minutes. Otherwise, what happens that client is chasing, I want, and we are not able to give the right instruction to our staff, and it either get delays and in pressure we sign whatever they bring to our table. Either the client brings to our table or the staff brings to our table. So that is what we can keep training and keep modifying it. If all your articles or all your employee staff is using different IDs, then you are not coming to a level where the firm wants firm's certificate model is not coming up to the mark. So that's one thing which I wanted to bring across. I'll take a 5 minute pause over here to take question answers on this certification part, including like guidance node applicability, any queries on guidance node, any questions or brainstorming on how to use ChatGPT and all. Once I take this 5 minutes question answer, I can move towards the use of Perplexity and Notebook LLM. Yeah, Payal. Hello. Payal, Punit bhai, you want to take Q&A at the very fag end, or this seems to be a right time in my view? Hello.
If any questions are there for this session, attendees may ask. Otherwise, Sankit, after 2-3 minutes, you can continue with the next session.
Okay, I'll wait for 2-3 minutes to take questions. Yeah.
Sankit, I was just wondering,
Yes, Jitesh bhai.
I've gone through the guidance note, and my question was that a certificate has to be issued to particular addressee, right?
Correct.
My question is, suppose a bank name is mentioned, do I need to mention the branch also? That, for example, this particular branch has requested me for.
Yeah, so what the guidance note requires is that you basically mention, let's say Bank of India, Parel branch example. So if you want to that specific, you can address it that specifically, so that that certificate is not being used to any other branch. So it is up to you that how do you perceive the usage of the certificate accordingly.
Okay. But is it institute guideline doesn't prevent me to mentioning just names bank, right? Name of the bank or.
So there is no specific mention like you need to properly identify like Bank of India having PAN so and so. No. So it's the user of the certificate should come to know कि no, I was not the intended user. Let's say you mention Bank of India Parel branch, and the client takes that same certificate to, let's say, Powai branch. So the Bank of India Powai branch knows that no, boss, this certificate is not addressed to me. I am not the intended user of this certificate. Okay. But if you mention Bank of India and then client is roaming around in all the branches, then maybe some bank will accept it and say, ki, no, I got the certificate from a CA. So I had all the reasons to accept it.
So can I issue a certificate mentioning more than one addressee?
Yeah, you can always. So let's take an example in DRHP. Like when a DRHP happens, what happens is that you are addressing to the merchant banker, you are addressing to the lawyer, and you are also addressing to the board of directors. So in that you say to so and so, so and so, so and so, and in the purpose you're mentioning for the purpose of DRHP filing and no other purpose. So you can have multiple people using your certificate. Today discuss today. No? Please share further. As per bank. So I think I went to the chat window and not much of a query perspective. So I'll go to the next session. Yeah. Yes. So Perplexity. Two things about Perplexity. Perplexity is basically a better version of Google. What Perplexity does. So let's ask, what is Perplexity better for, especially practicing accountant. Comparison with ChatGPT. And so obviously my experience has been that if you want to get up to speed to about any topic, which also requires some recent information, then you start with Perplexity. You don't go to Claude, you don't go to ChatGPT, nothing. You go to Perplexity. It's as simple as going to a Google. But Google Chrome, right? Now Google search has one default problem, that it is based on text search. It is not based on context search. Like, it doesn't consider your context in such a very high end. I'm not talking about Gemini. I'm saying only Google. And it is not going to bring all the information relevant to your question from hundreds of sources at one place. You have one question and Google is going to give you 100 sources, like, or maybe 1,000 sources to read through. Now it is up to you what all you read. Perplexity is going to understand your question to an extent and give you the relevant information which is available at those 100 sources. If source one has the same information as source two, it's not going to repeat. It's going to ignore that. But if source three has something new related to the question, it is going to add. The best part is it avoids the entire point of hallucinations, like, which is there in ChatGPT. Sometimes ChatGPT can hallucinate if you ask something, but Perplexity is going to give you a direct source where it is coming from. Let's say these are the sources where basis of which it is answering, right? So it is a basically for current fact-based research, current regulations in real-time financial. Uh, that is what it is, less creative, and we want it to be less creative because we want it to be more factual, right? It gives you a source also. So how do you use it in your like day-to-day life? Let's say you are a stat auditor of a listed company and you are just sitting to finalize. So you want to know this quarter, what are, so let me start a new window. What are the recent updates from SEBI LODR perspective for finalization of uh, limited review financial result and limited review report. Let's link this results. So see what we would have done. Companies Act, it is going to Companies Act, it is going through website, it is going through NSE circular. That's all, say, as of July 2025. So something if we put like this, let's say in ChatGPT. Because I think I'll have to use this one. Because I think ChatGPT is also, if you see as of March and April 2025, and if we go to like Perplexity, it says till July 2025. Based on your role as a CA, the following are the key points. So it says about Regulation 33 of LODR, quarterly and year to date, which we also know 45 and 60 days ensures trigger the disclosures, changes, modified opinion, mandatory, a limited review, uh, revised format. So if there are any revised format like Annexure 1, key processes. So let's take an example. You had heard somewhere in a seminar that something related party has some amendments. So you can just type it out. What are the recent amendments from SEBI for related party disclosures? So, so let's say I heard somewhere and it said the most recent amendments related party effective from 1st July 2025 and additional provision of September 1st, 2025 are this. So now you know that the adoption of industry standards of RPD disclosures. So they have increased the related party disclosure. SEBI has gone beyond the financial reporting and accounting standard. So they have given materiality thresholds, and RPT is considered material if it aggregates value exceed 10,000 crore or 10% of console. Then it says that for SME and listed entity, materiality threshold is now 50 crore, not even 1,000 crore, it's 50 crore or 10%. So obviously, a lot of SMEs are coming out, they are doing related party, so they want to know even if 50 crore or 10% of consolidated turnover, whichever is lower. Board and audit committee. So now at least two independent directors are required on audit committee for approval RPTs. Now, another major update is that for inter-party transaction of a listed company, shareholder approval would be required, valuation reports would be required. So if you see, you as a ongoing student of this field of financial reporting are really being brought up to the speed. Like what last quarter you had to finalize something, now you are sitting and now you want to know, कि चलो अभी I need to finalize 20-25 LRs this quarter. So what are really the recent updates, incremental updates? That is where Perplexity can be. So you can use it for anything, for Google wide search relevant to your own particular context. So any topic which is new to you, or anything which you want to just know, ki, is there anything outside in the world which can go against me? You can use Perplexity. Last one use case which I can think of is I am issuing a cost audit applicability certificate to a client. Are there any risks in this? Has there been any reporting or dates given this context? So I just thought this, let's see what we can get onto this. Issuing or using collateral to client involves several regulatory compliance risks, risk associated legal and financial penalties. So it is misinterpreting in a way that risk from the company's point of view. We want to know risk from the CA point of view. So we want to know the risk from CA point of view, who is signing the cost audit applicability certificate and issuing to the client to be submitted the ROC. Now, from a chartered accountant perspective, when you sign up for the primary statutory liability, CA makes defaulting compliant because so if in a car only if you have misreported, so you can be considered under professional misconduct, responsibility of fraud. If there's a fraud, you're supposed so anything. But the best part is for the search. Now going to the third feature, which is basically LLM. So Notebook LLM, just a recent update on Perplexity. If you have a Airtel based Wi-Fi or Airtel based, prepaid plan, postpaid plan, then Perplexity with the additional features has been made free. So whoever has an Airtel plan can take a use of it. And in my view, even Jio would come with something like that. So on the Notebook LLM, what's basically Notebook LLM? The word is basically notebook. You have your notebooks, you can have different notebooks. And if you want to find any answer, going back to your school days, you would, brush through all the notebooks. You might have your school notebook. For a particular topic, let's say history, you might have your school notebook. You might have your tuition notebook. You might also have a digest which we used to buy. And for that one particular answer, we used to, read all three and maybe come to some conclusion. So Notebook LLM is that feature which gives you to search anything, but it remains within the context of what you are uploading. It doesn't go outside your notebook. Perplexity searches the web entirely. ChatGPT will search right in its own way, modify, but Notebook LLM is the very closely held feature where it is not going to go outside your PDFs and any other links that you give. So let's take an example that recently there's an applicability of guidance 3, guidance note to non-corporate entity. So I have these two notebooks. Let's say I go to guidance note. I'm going to upload this. So you as a practicing CA, or you as a maybe your entire at the office level or at a personal level also, you can have these things already. The way we have our knowledge banks in our offices, right? So this is something which you can keep it and ready to go. Uh, so this file I've uploaded. Let's take ICI non-corporate format YouTube. There's another, let's say, a seminar example which was conducted. So I also want to add another link over here. So you can also add basically your links from website, your YouTube point of view, say, and you know now how do you use it basically? So now you want to know what is the format of PNL, okay, profit and loss base of it. You have just put a very specific question. You don't want to go through like whatever the 40, 30 pages or 50 pages this notebook is. The format is, this is the format, revenue from operation, other income, total expense, so and so. It is also going to give you a reference that, okay, this is where it is being mentioned. You just click on it. It will take you to a particular page directly. Okay, so these are the format, and it also gives you a reference of the which page number or which para. So this is what you can, give. Now let's take an example. We all know that under Companies Act, there's a trade receivable aging that we need to be given. But you just want to know that whether it is to be given for non-corporate entities also or not. So trade receivable aging report, aging disclosure to be given for non-corporate or not. Okay, let's try different trade receivable, Benami property, disclosure for companies. See, based on the provided sources, there is no information available regarding to because this guidance note has nothing about Benami property, right? So it is making you, it is not even trying to think where it will be available. So it's just saying that it is not available. So if you want to learn anything about a document or new circular or anything, you upload it here. It will give you this basis, and you can always keep questioning what all you can explore on this. Like you can keep all your accounting standards uploaded in one place, and you can just question what are the revenue recognition mechanism for so and so accounting standard, what is the disclosure required under so and so accounting standard. So very, very crisp, very to the point, very niche. And according to me, this is one of the things which you can really leverage, something which you already have in your servers, the knowledge bank. You can, keep it over here if it's not very confidential, not very privately created, and people can just, type it out, and it will take you to the relevant. Let's take example, you have given submissions for so many cases. If you have this bank over your submission cases, it can tell you which case, what happened under income tax, like one entity went under 143.1, then 148, then maybe 263. It can keep a track of it, like what had happened if you keep, uploading this, all other ideas also into this financial reporting. So this is okay, yeah, this is where the link was. You can, put the link over here also. YouTube link, and it is now going to summarize the entire, like, you can go through this today's YouTube link, but the YouTube needs to have a basically subtitles or transcript. It still does a better job without subtitle. We can, go back and try this JCF forum itself. Uh, and now when you ask anything, it is going to bring context. Going through this YouTube link, going through this PDF, going through the website link that you are holding on to it. So, two, three things summarizing what I wanted to discuss. Start with perplexity if you are starting a new unknown topic or a known topic, but you want to know what has happened very recently. Uh, if you have a very predefined source of information which you want to refer to, not interpret, only refer to. It's more like a control F, but not specific but as a question answer control F. Then use notebook LLM. And for drafting and all, there's this chat GPT, which as and when you train more, it works within your organization. सर्टिफिकेट ड्राफ्टिंग डन चेकलिस्ट पॉइंट्स इसका ये एमआरएल बनना चाहिए सो as and when you use it will start thinking a little bit forward than you also. Okay, in fact I had an experience of using certification multiple and it had given me a toolkit that this certificate needs to be prepared by your junior which will then do the 80% of work. So going, do you want me to create a SOP so that your junior can do it next time 80% of the work? So it keeps developing the way you keep interacting. Consider this as one of your employee staff and train, retrain, and it should help a lot. Uh, as far as the guidance node is applicable on the the certificate guidance node for certification, I believe that we should follow this because the analogy which I can think of that if a kite is flying and we feel that it is a string which is holding the kite back, it is not the case. Okay. If you feel that ये सब करने से यार मेरा speed slow हो जाएगा, it's not remunerative, XYZ thing, I cannot do it fast, and you are thinking the way the kite thinks that it is a string which is holding me back, but it is not the string which is holding you back. It is a string which is allowing you to fly in a very predetermined trajectory. Okay, it is a string which gives you the support that you can go in any direction, and I got you right from the bottom. So if you follow this guidance note, especially the audit procedures paragraph and the opinion paragraph, and giving a cross reference to annexure A, you are taken care of. This is the string which allows you to give opinion, even if it's a tad riskier opinion. You just mentioned that I'm giving this opinion basis of this three information only. So if nobody can, remove the context out of it that you to said this was true and correct. You can always say, yes, I said, but it was basis of this three things that I checked. If you really wanted me to check their sales register, if you really wanted me to check their GST, you could have rejected the certificate and not given a loan basis of it or not done any transaction basis of this. So that is something which I wanted to bring out. That there's this applicability requirement. It's for our own good, and whatever problems we had is already taken care of by the AI we use. You can really bring your entire organization up to the scale. I know that there are ICI certification tools and all seminars. I really wanted to bring out the real use case which has been there for last 3 months, which we really use for our DRHP drafting also. Like in DRH, you're supposed to give 30, 40 certificates, and there's a higher risk, a legal risk, which goes out in the public. Okay, in fact, in the DRHP, it is specifically mentioned based on the certificate received from SCGCA. That's what we have used legal language. How do you safeguard if you feel, in fact, one of the prompt that I keep using is uh, tell me the risk factors when I'm giving this certificate. I've already finalized the certificate. I upload it and I tell what are the risk factors that I'm looking at. So that's how we use it, and that would be there from my side. Uh, if we are taking questions now, we can take it now, or I'll hand over to Hitesh Bhai.
Any questions so far? So now we open for Q&A session for this session, like for the session taken up by Sankit. Any questions? Okay, no worries. In case there are any after Jitesh sir's session, we can take up questions. First, thanks, Sankit. So thank you
Thank
for the
you.
amazing session, which was really insightful in terms of the certificate preparation, in terms of the perplexity tools, as well as with the AI-enabled tech, like how we can leverage that in our day-to-day certificate preparation. I would
Thanks,
now
Payal.
like introduce CA Jitesh Jain. CA Jitesh Jain is a partner in Jain Ambawat and Associates LLP with core area of practice in forensic investigations and GST specialist. With the forensic investigation expertise, he has an experience of handling more than 30 forensic audits. His expertise in delivering both investigative reports and expert testimony in legal proceedings. Also, he has more than 20 years of experience in indirect taxation. Along with that, we'd like to call out and give a loud shout out to his experience and his contributions in JSAP. He is a JSAP Midtown Committee member, a treasurer since 2022, and an active member and managing committee of managing committee of Midtown Committee since 2022. With this, I would like to introduce. I would like CA Jitesh Jain to help us with the Excel tools. I am sure Excel is such a tool. Like even me, like personally, I've been using it since 2014. Like since the time I have started with my CA journey, and I would like there's been never a day like I have not learned something new out of it. It is the ocean, I would say, a Pacific Ocean, where how much ever you learn, there is no end to it. And with the AI coming in and with the new, the way the market's been developed, it is important to keep updating ourselves. Over to you, CA Jitesh Jain, and to help us with the CA tools and how it can be made more powerful for all of us.
Thanks, Payal, for the introduction. I'll not waste much time on the details. I'll start with my presentation on only one function of the Excel, which I found very useful in our practice as a CA, which is not very widely used by the practicing chartered accountant. I wanted to highlight this particular function so that everybody can use it in their practical life. So this function is there in Excel 2003 onwards, but very limited people know about this function. So I thought that this would be a right forum to explain and explain the function for the benefit of the members. So the function is consolidate function. I think it's there in the Excel. What basically it does, it consolidates all the data you have in one place. For example, this is the data where you have mentioned separately like east, west, and north. Now, if you want to consolidate, you can consolidate here in the quarter one total. How generally what we will do, people either do SUMIF formula or sum formula and manually doing it. Since there are only 3 areas, it is easier. But suppose it is down the line 50 areas, it will be difficult. So what consolidate does it consolidates this data for you. I'll give you how to use this function. Okay. In the data bar, if it is latest version, you can search it a consolidate data over here. You can just type consolidate data. If the latest Excel is not there, then you can simply go to data tab, and here it is consolidate this. In text to column, next to text to column, this is their consolidate function. So I'll use it right now, how to use this function. You have to click on the consolidate data, and then you have to select the data which you want to consolidate. Okay. Now this is my data source. You have to click on the reference. This is my data source. Click on the top row and the left column and then add it. Same way second, add it. Same way third, add it. Now if you click OK, because I selected the wrong one, I would select the common headers. It should be the common headers. I selected east and north also, so it did not consolidate it. The header should be common so that it identifies what exactly to be summed up. Add your second and third. So now, mistake that I made was the data where I want to paste was lying on the table or the data itself, so it was not done. Add, add. See, this is consolidate. Although you can do it by sum, but manually you'll have to do it. Here, if the data size is large, you can do it easily. Now, if this data, like what happens, there it is in different sheets. How do you do it? This is the data in the same sheet. Suppose this data is in different sheets. You can do it the same way. Here, you can again use the consolidated data. And use east. Add. Click on the west sheet. Add. Click on the north sheet. Add. And then it will consolidate the data over here. See, now I've given very small example just to make you explain how this is work. This would be very useful for you when suppose there are 12 months data given in the different sheets for Jan, Feb, March, April to up to December. Then instead of manually calculating each and every line item, it sum up all the this particular item in all the sheets and sum it up. So consolidated data can be given prepared by just giving one command instead of manually typing or manually calculating it. Okay. Now suppose there are 12 months or maybe sometimes the division or the branches. To consolidate data, this kind of function is very helpful. Now this was the one method I explained you how to consolidate data. Other way, suppose there are 30 or 40 sheets, how to use it? Because even adding it's very cumbersome. Okay, so there is one shortcut. For example, I'll show you where the number of sheets are very more, then how to use the consolidate data function. Here you can select the east, select the data, and then column, select control, and then click on west and north. there is some problem now here, it's not functioning, but it can be done in all the three sheets by adding just by using this consolidate function. You can add all the data in different sheets also. Now, this is very simple thing. Generally, people may not use it for console. I mean, may not use it. But one best thing about the consolidate function, which I am particularly using, it helps in matching two sets of data. Okay. So, like we do many times opening balance checking. Now, I have used this consolidate in matching two sets of data and checking opening balance. How trial balance of 2 years, 1 year's closing balance and another year's opening balance, we can match in very short time. Like for example, there are two sets of trial balance here. This is trial balance of April 22 and this is trial balance of 21-22. Now the closing trial balance of data we have to match with the opening trial balance of 22-22, 22-23. So if you will see if, how to do it, it's very simple. Consolidate data. So this is the data set I have done. I have added both the data. You remove the irrelevant columns and now you will find that both the data are simultaneously presented before each other. And now you can find if there is no data, I mean, no mismatch, all the difference here, see. There is a difference in one account, exact same difference in another account. Although the total is matching, but there's a closing balance mismatch is there in the one account and opening balance in is something different in both the accounts. So this exercise of finding the opening balance and closing balance where the line items are runs into 1,000 line items, this particular functions help very much in finding the data for matching the opening balance and closing balances. So the trial, what you have to do is just export the trial balance, put it here instead of allowing, put the closing balance 22 word so that you know what exactly you are matching at, and then the opening balance over here. These two changes you have to make in the trial balance exported from the tally, and then you have to just run the consolidate function. What I just explained you, I can show it once again for easier understanding. I use the consolidate function. I'll remove the data. I'm adding the data of the first trial balance and I'm then adding the data of second trial balance. Didn't come, closing didn't come. Let me check what happened. This is the opening balance and this is the closing balance of 21-22. Here There is a difference is these two accounts. The reason, and then you can find the corrective action to be taken for. Although this consolidate, but why it giving two comparative data is the I have changing the heading. If you don't change the heading, it will just sum up. Whereas to match two data, we need to have two separate headings. So why it is useful? Like if you want to compare any two sets of data, then you just have to, I mean, like any set, like if you want to do ITC mismatch or like two-way comparison or maybe trial balance I just showed you. I can again explain the same thing for ITC register, where this is my client's ITC register and this is the B2B data from the GSTN portal. Now I'll show you how to consolidate this data. What I've done from ITC register, I've taken three data which is common for both GSTN, basic amount, sorry, GSTN, IGST, CGST. This I would be matching. And here also I taken only three data from 2A, GSTN, integrated tax, central tax, and state tax. This is the data I have copied and pasted over here. Now, when I run GSTR2A, this consolidate function, it will match and give me exact party where there is a difference. So I am showing you how you just have to put first GSTN, total 2A. This is the data as per 2A. Then add. This is GSTN. This is data as per register, ITC register. Now I'll just put consolidate and it is giving me total as per 2A and total as per ITC register. Now you can find the difference by manually calculating it. And so here, if we check, this total is exactly equal to difference between these two. So it validates that all the items of both the table has come. Now, see there's a difference in these two. So you can identify how many parties there is a difference. And basically this consolidate function, with the help of consolidate function, you can compare any two sets of data. I just given two examples. One is trial balance and another is GSTR2A and ITC register, which is the most common mismatch or practice we do while doing auditing or GST reconciliation in GST audit. So I tried to cover the consolidated data first, so that and this function is available since 2003. So no need to have even latest version of Excel. Even you can do it with the help of earlier old versions. It is available since 2003. So I think that was what I wanted to share with you all. I take over my chance to fire to carry it forward.
Thank you so much, Hitesh bhai. Thank you so much for taking us through an amazing tool of Excel, which works like magic. And I must say, like this will make our life simpler and help us in saving time while comparing the GST balances, multiple lines, or for comparing the trial balance of multiple years. I will now open this session for any Q&A. Anyone, any questions, please feel free to ask. We have our speakers, CA Hitesh and CA Sanket, to answer your questions. Take this as an opportunity and do ask any queries if you have.
क्लास का डेवलपर इंडिया एंड मुंबई के ऐसे हैं आप आइए चाहिए मेहनत करना मेरी नहीं नहीं मेरा वो ट्रांजेक्शन में जाता है ना
No queries so far.
उनके एक
Okay.
ही होता
I
है।
assume people are satisfied and convinced with all the learning tools which they have got today. I would now request CL Kochal to give a vote of thanks.
Hello, everyone. I would like to thank all the speakers of today, Mr. Jitesh and Mr. Samkit, for a wonderful session and a wonderful knowledge sharing game. I would also take this opportunity to thank Palak and her team for giving us all this, the back office support, and Mrinal Bhai, Abhay, and the treasurer, Jitesh Bhai, for conducting this webinar, and Payal Jain for hosting it wonderfully. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed it.
I know
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in today and for being an amazing viewers and the keynote speakers for the amazing sessions. Thank you to the audience for being patient and getting the best learnings out of this. I'm sure this will help you to be future fit. And as it is said, learnings get you earnings. I'm sure this will help you monetary wise as well as technically. Also would like you to see all of you in our future coming sessions. Thank you so much. Today.
Thank you,
for
Payal.
joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
ये मोक्षा, एक मिनट बेटा, क्या कर रही थी? जरा ये इसमें जियो पीसी सेट कैसे होता है, देख जरा। मोबाइल में जियो पीसी से, इसमें जियो पीसी सेटअप है क्या? तो उसमें बोले कंप्यूटर, इस पे आपका कंप्यूटर भी इस पे जियो पे चल जाएगा। और उसके लिए एक वो लगेगा बस, कीबोर्ड और माउस। जियो पीसी करके ऑप्शन आता है क्या? माउस कनेक्ट करना पड़ेगा ना? परचेस करना पड़ेगा उसको। चलो दूसरा वाला कर रहे हैं। यार हाँ दे दो, खाने ही दे दो यार। ये वही है ना, प्रिया एन जैन एट शोविस्दर जी में ना.
रोटी पापा को कितनी रोटी रख दो।
पानी
रोटी नहीं थी आपको कैसा है? अरे यार कैसा तो रखा।
पानी